International Training for Elders and Responsible Ones, March 2023. General subject: Knowing, experiencing, and living the all-inclusive Christ for the genuine church life. Message 7. Laboring on the all-inclusive Christ. A land flowing with milk and honey, and bringing the surplus of the riches of Christ to the meetings of the church, for an exhibition of Christ and the corporate worship of God. Day 2. Outline. Capital C. Although we need to labor on Christ as the land to produce Christ, we need to realize that it is not we who produce Christ, but Christ who produces Himself in us, through our labor. Number 1. We all need to labor on Christ, and let Christ give us much produce. Then we will have rich experiences of Christ. Number 2. The harvest of Christ is the Christ, on whom we have labored, and have reaped to be our harvest. Capital D. Every morning, we need to pray, asking the Lord for the day's portion of grace, and consecrating ourselves to the Lord, for the purpose of experiencing and enjoying Him, by laboring on Him. Capital E. Throughout the day, we need to maintain our fellowship with the Lord, and thereby contact Him, labor on Him, apply Him, experience Him and enjoy Him. Morning nourishment. Philippians 2:13. For it is God, who operates in you, both the willing, and the working for His good pleasure. Ephesians 3:17. That Christ may make His home in your hearts, through faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love. Colossians 3:15-16. And let the peace of Christ arbitrate in your hearts. And be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly. God invited all His people to come together, yet God did not cook. Although God did not cook the food, He had given the food already. He had given them the food by sending the sunshine, the air, and the rain year-round. All the things were sent, but they needed to cooperate with God to have the produce. Then the produce became the tithes, and the tithes were brought to answer God's invitation. Everyone was invited to God's home. Everybody came home to feed the Father, and to satisfy Him. What a happy time this was! All of this must be Christ. When we come together, we should come with Christ in this way. How much Christ you bring to the meeting depends upon how much Christ you produce, how much Christ you have grown. You have to labor on Christ as the land, so that you can produce Christ. Actually, it is not that you produce Christ, but that Christ produces Christ Himself through your labor. The poor thing today is that the Christians as God's redeemed people all come together empty-handed. Today's reading. I believe that thus far, we have presented a clear picture of how we should come together. Meeting is the proper church life. Meeting is the practical church life. Without this kind of meeting, we do not have the practical church life. What we have might be just a kind of organization with certain communal activities. But the proper church life should be a meeting life. Before coming to the meeting, we must be laboring on Christ. We must reap Christ. We must have gathered some amount of Christ, so that when we come to meet, we come filled with Christ. Every morning, you need to pray, Lord, I consecrate myself once more to you, not to work for you, but to enjoy you. You must consecrate yourself sincerely to the Lord, for the simple purpose of enjoying and experiencing Him. Nothing more. From the moment you awake in the morning, you need to say, "Lord, here I am. I give myself to enjoy you. Grant me through the entire day, from this moment on, to experience and apply you in every situation. I am not asking for anything tomorrow. I am asking for grace to enjoy you today. Show me how to till the ground, sow the seed, and water the plants of the Lord." Moment by moment through the whole day, you will maintain your communion with the Lord. You will live practically in the Lord, laboring on Him, applying Him and enjoying Him. If you do this, consider how fruitful and how beautiful your farm will be. When the Lord's day comes, and you go to worship the Lord with the saints, you will be able to say, "I am going now to see my God. I am going to worship my Lord. I will not go with empty hands, but with hands full of Christ. I have a surplus, and in my right hand is the best part reserved for my dear Lord." When the meeting begins, you are well prepared to offer your prayers and praises to the Lord from your reserve for Him. This is the best of your surplus, and with the saints, you joyfully render it to the Lord for His enjoyment and satisfaction. You have reaped enough of Christ for yourself, for the needy ones, and for the Lord. You have furthermore put aside a considerable portion that will stand you in good stead in future days. This is the end of day 2 of Message 7.